Okay, the next step after you're done with your line weight is to create the colors for your door top drawing. So this is gonna be the tutorial on how to do the coloring on the Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so in order to do your coloring, we're just gonna continue where we left off with the after the line weights. Okay, so to do your coloring, the next step that you want to do is you're going to create another layer, and you want to click on your rough draft layer, and you're going to create a new layer. Okay, it's going to be a layer 3, and you want to rename this layer your color layer. So just rename it color. It's totally fine. And then you want to lock your outline layer. Okay, so now you can't touch any of these lines that you made. Okay, you shouldn't need these lines anyways. Now, when you go to your color layer, okay, you're going to be essentially doing the same thing that you did before, and you're just going to be retracing the lines that you made in order to make your colors. So now we don't really need to make strokes anymore. So we're going to flip this around and just use only the fill option. Okay, so you want to double click on your fill, and you can choose the colors that you want to use. Okay, so I might make this the cap on the eagle's head blue. Okay, so go and use the pen tool, and I'm just gonna be retracing these lines that I made. Okay, now it's real important that you play with those different line widths, because it's gonna make the coloring a lot more easier. Okay, because now you gotta make sure you're coloring all those places where you're tracing the lines where they should be. So just remember, you're just clicking these points that you made before, and that's how you're gonna do your coloring. Okay, so it should look like this. Now, let's just say that this happens with your colors, because some of you may run into this problem here. Okay, so the black lines aren't showing, and it's only the fill. If that happens, okay, you want to go to your layers window and make sure to click and drag the layers to the middle. Okay, because the way these layers works is it's the same idea as stacking a sheet of paper. Okay, so on your first layer of the paper, you have your rough sketch. Okay, and on top of that rough sketch, you have your color layer. Okay, so your color is on top of the rough sketch, and then on the very top is going to be your outline. Okay, so the reason why the color is behind the black lines is because it's under the outline, and that's how the layers work. It's just like kind of stacking up one paper on top of another. Okay, so you're just gonna go to your color layer, and you're just gonna color this. I'm gonna make this black because I don't want that to really show up over there. So this I'm gonna make black. I'm just clicking these lines, just retracing what I did. Click and drag to make your curves. Okay, click and click, and yeah, that's all you're pretty much doing for coloring, is just retracing these lines. Okay, make sure to connect all these points together though, because sometimes some things can look weird if you don't connect them all the way. Whoops. Alright, I gotta make a curve for that. Oops, I gotta click on that last point again. Alright, let me show you one other thing too. So let's just say you want to change this color here to like, green maybe. You want to make sure to click on your selection tool, click on that line, and you can change these colors. So I could do like a green hat instead, or I could make this blue too. Okay, but it's up to you what you want to do later. I actually like these two colors. Now, Okay, so one other thing too that you want to include is maybe the shadows that you made in your picture. You might want to include that in your drawing somewhere. So maybe I might make this a light gray here, and I'm just clicking on my layers window and showing that, and maybe I might want to trace this shadow here that I made before. Originally I didn't want to have that shadow there because it wasn't really a line that I wanted to trace, but this is like a nice detail you might want to add to your picture. It's up to you. So maybe you might want to include the shadow here. Okay, wherever you can add detail to it, it'll look nice. So, now I have the shadow here. I'm gonna make this beak yellow. So double click here, go to yellow. Okay, just essentially retracing these lines that I made. Okay, now if it, looks weird at first, like it's not really coloring my inside of my beak, but when I go all the way around, it's gonna fix itself. The reason why it does this is because it's connecting with the very first point that you made with the last point that you made. So that's the reason why it's, these lines are behaving the way they do. But when I go all the way around here, okay, I go all the way around, it's gonna start to, fix itself the way it should look. So just retracing these lines, and hopefully the coloring doesn't take too long. The nice thing about the newer Photoshop is it auto connects to like previous points that you made. So whoops, undo. I missed a point by accident, so I should make it easier to retrace these. Alright, and maybe I might want to trace again on the bottom, but this time I'm going to use a darker yellow, to emphasize the shadows, because you always want to try to include shadows in your pictures or highlights wherever it's possible, because I feel like the more interesting Adobe Illustrator drawings are the ones that include shading in their pictures. Okay, so this is generally how you want to trace your drawings. I'm going to actually show you an easier way of tracing some of these parts that you may want to experiment with, but it is a little more confusing to do it that way. So let me just show you an example of what it is. Okay, so one way you can do your coloring too is if you go back to your outline layer and you unlock that layer, okay, you can actually click on these lines that you made. Okay, these are going to be specifically the lines that you connect together. So you see this shape that I made here? This is all one shape. Okay, these lines are connected to make this area a shadow. Okay, so one thing you can do is you can Command C, which is copy, and then Command V is going to paste it. Okay, but you want to paste it under your color layer. Okay, so I'm copying from the outline over here, the shadow, and then I'm clicking on my color layer and pasting it. Okay, so now the line that you made here, you don't have to retrace it. It's already there. I'm going to make this into shadows. Okay, and if I want to make it match the shadow that I have here, you can use the eyedrop tool here. So I'm matching the shadow that I did there. Because, I want to keep the shadows consistent. And then you can click and drag this line here. And, hit the arrows left, right to line it up. And you can use that as your shadows. Okay, same thing with this circle here. I'm copying from the outline. Okay, copy, Command C, and I'm going down to my color layer, and Command V is pasting it. and I flip this around, and I want to make this white. Okay, and I'm just gonna put my lines in there, and now it's gonna be white. But you have to be able to understand which layer you're working on in order for that to work. And maybe I might go on my outline layer, and maybe I might make one a highlight for the eye. So this white circle that I made here, maybe I might want to reshape it. Okay, and then maybe I might want to put a highlight on the eye. Okay, and the way I'm doing that is I'm just putting a circle on just a circle on my outline layer. So now I have a highlight on the eye here. Alright, so that's how you're going to do your coloring in the Adobe Illustrator.